Dear friends, today is a special day in the life of the UWC community. Here at Dilijan, first of all, we now have 215 students on campus. We're only missing 11, and we expect them to be here very soon. Moreover, it is UWC Day, which this year is under the theme United We Can. It is also the United Nations International Day of Peace, and these 2 days are celebrated together as the UWC movement has a mission to make education a force to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. We've had a whole day of events organized by UWC Dilijan and the UWC National Committees of Armenia, Russia, Georgia, and Uzbekistan. We've had speakers talking about their own priorities and values, which inspire them to fight for human rights, to help the homeless, the elderly, and to drive an effort to assist Lebanon in light of the recent tragedy. For me, the special event was this year's alum Sandro Chumashvili from Georgia, who single-handedly started a campaign to urge Georgia to help Armenia as the COVID-19 crisis got worse here during the summer. It is only appropriate that today we also hear from UWC Dilijan founders, Ruben, Vardanyan, and Veronika Zonabend. Together with the founding partners, Nubar and Nana Afeyan, Gagi Kadibekian, Vladimir and Anna Avetisian, and Oleg Nekerchan, they funded the school construction with the startup capital. They built state-of-the-art facilities in this most beautiful location. They also thought, what type of a school is needed for the future of education, for education that is crucial for today's world? We asked Alba and Abdikani, 2 of our second-year students, to lead the conversation with Ruben and Veronica, which will last about 30 to 40 minutes. You, the audience, are welcome to ask any questions via the chat. But before Alba and Abdikani start the interview, let me please say a few words about Ruben and Veronica. After graduating from Moscow University, Ruben started a very successful investment company, Troika Dialog, in Russia in the 90s. At the time, Russia was opening up. Veronica is an aeronautical engineer who graduated from Moscow Aviation Institute and then began her career at the Research Institute of Avionics in Russia. As the Soviet Union collapsed, Ruben and Veronica found themselves in a new environment, and they showed resilience in a true UWC fashion and applied the business acumen and entrepreneurship to other spheres. Professional success has not been the only driving force in Ruben and Veronica's lives. With their success came responsibility, which they both embraced, becoming social entrepreneurs who use their personal largesse and their talents to make a difference in the lives of others. You can see from the formal bios some of the many causes they've been supporting and driving. Today, we look forward to Alba and Abdikani talking to Ruben and Veronica about their passion for education and UWC Dilijan. I would like to mention that Abdikani's scholarship is kindly supported by Sergei Belousov and Paul and Jaffa Maritz. Alba, Abdikani, over to you. Please introduce yourself first to our audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. Hello, everyone. My name is Alba Hammertag, and I am part of UWC Dilijan's class of 2021. I'm from Sweden originally, but I've also grown up in New Jersey and Hong Kong, being selected for UWC through the Hong Kong National Committee. During my time here at UWC Dilijan, I've not only been able to pursue my longstanding passions and aspirations of educating by volunteering and assisting many projects in the local Dilijan community, but I've also discovered numerous new interests and passions, specifically in the field of political science, that I'm looking forward to continue pursuing after my graduation in May.
Thank you so much, Alfa. My name is Abdikani and I'm from Somaliland. I'm a second year student at UWC Dilijan, and I'm planning to double major with computer science and electrical engineering. I had the opportunity to join such a diverse and multicultural community last year, and I have enjoyed every single moment of it. I've learned and taught, and I think my experience here is worth reliving. Now I think enough of me, and let me say thank you so much to Master Vardanyan and Mrs. Zonabend, who without their support, UWC wouldn't exist. Thank you so much, and let me pass it to Alfa.
Thank you. So the first question we want to propose to Mr. Vardanyan. You are clearly a very successful businessman. And would you mind telling us a little bit about why you decided to pursue a path of being a social investor and a philanthropist? And if there was any specific moment or event in your life that encouraged you to take that step?
Thank you, Alva. Thank you, Abdani. Hi, Gabriel, and hi, everybody. I'm very glad to be part of today's conversation. I've been involved in different social projects decades because I always believe the transformation was happening especially in the developing world, cannot happen only in capitalism part, but it needs to be change the social environment also. That's why with my partner, my wife Veronica, we've been talking about importance of education. It's one of the core element of success of 21st century. That's why when I came back from Harvard in 2001, I said it will be very critical for emerging markets to develop its own education system in business, but also in general education. And we've been doing this different projects many years because we know from our own personal stories that only education can give the people a chance to change their life and change the life of others. That's why when we started to do our school in Armenia, and we found later about United World College movement, we found this is very compelling with us because we both become successful in our entrepreneurial activities in an environment that was a lot of uncertainties, a lot of unpredictability, a lot of turbulence. And the core element of success was for us our level of adaptivity, our level of curiosity, our desire to learn more and to learn from others. That's why we like a lot the concept of United World College. And we said it's a great combination of bringing global and local together, like we name it local concept to the Armenian, to this region, our region. But for me, being business person, I always believe the key element of the future it will be education.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So we wanted to hear a little bit more about the philanthropic projects you were involved in prior to starting UWC Dilijan. So would you mind going a little bit more into detail about your very early philanthropic projects and what you learned from them and how they kind of influenced what you continue to pursue later on?
Yeah, one of the first, our project was in Troika Dialogue. We've been supporting the Orphan school for disabled kids, and it was very emotional, touching project because it was not only the company but involved, but every employee who provide money with double amount of the money which was provided by employees. It was also a lot of personal attachment, and many of our employee work with the kids, and they went to the school and they organized New Year and Christmas, and it was very successful, and we felt very proud about how we've been helpful to this orphan school. Unfortunately, 10 years later, during these 10 years we've been doing this, I asked the question, what's happening after the kids graduate the school? And I found that 70% of them died or went to the prison or couldn't get drugs because of the no social adaptation was happening with them. They finished the school 16 years old, being disabled or not in a very good health conditions, and nobody was caring about them. And I realized it was one of the most painful time for me because I realized that when you're doing some good things, you need to think not only what you're doing good today, but also how you will follow after what's happening with the people that you are helping. This was one of our most painful experience, which I got myself during 90s when it was done. And after that, we decided with Veronica, we've been doing our project always looking not only what is happening today, but impact will be happening 5, 10, or 20 years ahead. Also, we've been looking at self-sustainable project, which can be dependent not only from ourselves, but we will become self-sustainable from point of supporting activities, not only when you can provide your own money, but also when this money will be generating some revenue which can support the projects. One of the big project which we did, it's a business school in Russia. It was established in 2005. This year we're celebrating 15 years. It was quite ambitious project to build a business school in Moscow to help Russian and non-Russian citizens to learn about how to do business in an emerging market. And it become now leading school in our region. In Financial Times, it was recognized among the top 50 schools worldwide, and it's the youngest school who achieves this remarkable result. And basically, it was a very good example of collaboration of people from different part of the world. It was not only our own money, but also we got support from Russian and non-Russian international business people. It was really combined efforts of 18 founding members, which include people from India, Shivchenko family, include BP from Britain, Credit Suisse, International Paper, Schlumberger, PwC, Ernst & Young, and it was big international group of companies and people who support the project, and it was a group of Russians who joined us and support, which I found is very important with our whole project we've been doing collegially. We've been doing together with our partners and friends who've been supporting this idea. That's why it was very important for us with Veronica. What we've been doing is jointly with the many other people. And the business school is one as an example of the project which we've been doing before UWC Dilijan.
Thank you so much. I think that was a really, really inspiring story. So now a question to you again. This time we wanna know more details about why you were involved in UWC and why did you, how did the idea of starting UWC in Dilijan came to your mind?
Ms. Zonabend, if you want to go into some more detail about that.
Maybe Veronica can elaborate more about it because I think it's her baby, and I'm very happy to join and tell the story about Manfred Schäffert. But it's really good for Veronica maybe to start.
Yes. Good afternoon and greetings to all of you, and thank you for being with us today. Yes, Ruben mentioned about the Skolkovo Business School in Russia. It's for all their age for adults. But what we realized that the biggest impact happens at early age. And we were always passionate about their making people to know each other, be able to communicate with their people from very different parts of the world, very different cultures, and this is what creates the future. These people are and become even more important in our world today. As we see, we need bridge builders who are able to find common ground and common language with people apart and who don't belong to their community, immediate community, and keen to learn more and also to find solutions in very complicated situations. And we both were born in the Soviet Union, and that was big country with many nations in it. It is about 160 nations who live, but it was separated from the world by iron wall. And it was the desire to build a center in our part of the world that helps people to come, learn, and to study together, and also to learn other people. And Ruben mentioned also about UWC. We got across the system. It was the initially idea of international school to build in Armenia. because Armenia is there like a crossroads of several civilizations, and it's part of Middle East, part of former Soviet Union, and also Armenia has very big diaspora, which is several times bigger than the population of the country. So they're a very connected nation, networking nation. Before web started in our days, and there we started to set up with our partners and with the prominent board that we managed to attract our ethos and principles and strategy for the school we want to set up in Armenia. And there, Manfred Skeppers, who was CF4 of EBRD at that time, came across by business purposes and alum of Atlantic College in Russia to present UWC model. And Ruben presented him model of the school that we thought. And it was interesting that we were almost the same ethos that we set up and that UWC has its in core. So we understood that it's natural marriage, and we became part of UWC movement, and happy that we joined like family we knew before, and aligned with the people who have similar view about the future and about what education is for. And Armenia, why Dilijan also? Dilijan is a beautiful place. So anyone who comes loves there, and it's the nature, as it's called, this place is the Switzerland over Caucasus. So it's so the idea was that to have wow effect, and there we wanted also from the very beginning to build campus that also attracts and becomes very distinguished, because architecture is very big part of our life. That's what we create. And there we're grateful to Tim Flynn, who created this beautiful campus, and he visited about 60 schools around the world to get new ideas and to implement it in Armenia. So here we are.
Wow, such an amazing answer. Thank you so much. Now I would like to go into UWC, and I mean, this experience has been amazing. It has been transformational. It's almost 6 years, and we already see the effect on people. So what I would like to ask you now is, where do you see UWC in our 10th year reunion?
UWC in general or UWC Dilijan?
Especially UWC Dilijan, yes, of course.
From the very beginning, our aspiration and their ambitious goal was to create an educational center in this part of the world that attracts not only people from the region, but from all over the world, and that we have to nurture and help to grow people who will lead the world in the future, so who will become those who are able and ready to take responsibility about global challenges, and also about the local challenges, and move their community, either local or global community, to thrive. And there also what we as well believe, that it is essential that those young people who come to Dilijan they develop themselves in their uniqueness and also keeping their unique identity. They become as well global, again, bridge builders between different communities and between different cultures. And also they are able to look beyond immediate look, but to the future. And they're also, when I hope that in 10 years time, maybe not in 10, in 20 years time, people who will become named for Nobel Prize, for become some leaders of some countries and nations, will be, among them will be many alumni of Dilijan. And so they will have in their heart Armenia as the second home country, where they know that in Dilijan is the place in the globe where they can always come and find support for their ideas, to find their support in challenging times of their life, and can rely and trust people whom they meet there. And also would like to send their children to study there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was really insightful. This question will be directed to you both, Master Vardanyan and Ms. Zonabend. You have been involved with so many organizations and projects. How does your experience with UWC differ from your past experiences and projects? If you would like to go first, Mr. Vardanyan, please.
What do you say? What is the difference? I would say one of the uniqueness of United World College network is international community, which really amazing from point of bringing together kids from all over the world, and we are becoming the ambassador of our own countries and coming to Armenia, learning about the local community, local nation, and at the same time keeping their identity. I think it's a quite fantastic difference compared with many other projects I saw during my philanthropic activity. So, and I will say also, when you see the teenagers who really wants to change the world for better, you are getting a lot of positive emotions because you believe the world in a good shape, because the next generation is doing the same what you've been doing. It's always complaints sometimes what's happening with old people saying, oh, it's a new generation is not doing like we've been doing. It's showing it's not true. In each generation you have a fantastic kids who really want to change the world for better and really dedicate their life for this. I think it's a very important element for me, the big difference compared to many other projects that I've been involved. And it's also about the tolerance and understanding and learning from each other and understanding what we are all different, with different background, different nationality, different religion, different maybe wealth from the families coming, but we are similar, same people who needs to think about the world, the planet in general, not only about our own problems. So I'll say, for me, the United World College, it was always been quite unique example of something which was very important for the being positive and believe in the future of the world.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. Ms. Zonabend, you went into beautiful detail earlier about the reasons behind choosing Armenia and specifically Dilijan as the location for this college. But for either of you, what kind of challenges have you faced with choosing Armenia as a location, considering what you mentioned earlier, that it's a post-Soviet country? Have you faced any challenges in terms of that with putting a school like UWC in this country?
Yes, there were a lot of challenges that we faced. Some of them were expected, some not. First of all, the main challenge that we face, that it's very unusual concept for that part of the world, and they're ambitious in terms of their bar and standard that we wanted to set up. It's until now is the only one international school which is which has the goal to be an educational center by itself, not to be an infrastructure for expat community, but to have young people and the families are willing to send their children for that quite unusual in terms of international education part of the world, to get to know something new. And that we are again now happy to have more than 70 representatives of more than 70 countries in Dilijan. And that was also despite we haven't used any penny of government money, and all the funds were from our family and raised from other families of our partners. So there were a lot of complaints about that so much funds were invested only in one school instead of investing in 100 schools around Armenia. So that their idea itself to raise the bar and build something never existed, and also which seemed to be a miracle when it was an idea, and the acceptance over public, over the people, and also that Armenian nation that suffered a lot within its history, challenging history, also that we support, the school supports not only Armenians to come and study in the country. That was the challenge, which is now, I can't say that it's completely over, but acceptance is much bigger because the results are already in place. And we have a lot of ambassadors already of Armenia around the world. And also many alumni already come back to Armenia and want to start the projects here with different knowledge, and they're also created different, again, example, which is hard to compare with anything because nothing existed. And there, again, I believe the challenges bring opportunities also. We have much more opportunities in Dilijan than schools in established world like in US or UK to bring completely different approach to education. And it's not about IB results, it's not about the tests, but it's about very different experience, which helps and prepares young people for the new world, for different reality, and they're also equips with the skills that are necessary in 21st century. And so we have much more opportunities here in Armenia than we would have in developed world, because regulations are less, and also it's possible to co-create them together with the government. And we have the vision of creating Dilijan Educational Cluster, which is not only UWC International High School, but also with the local school, with Creative Arts Center, and with many things that is deeply integrated into the country, into life of Dilijan, and creates ecosystem, is the core of ecosystem around.
That's incredible. You've really done an amazing job. So we want to ask a little bit about what other projects you've been involved with in Armenia, and if you see them having kind of this international significance that we see in UWC Dilijan as well.
I'm very proud to tell the story about our other initiative, which names Aurora Humanitarian Initiative, which is also very close connected to United World College, because we established 5 years ago the movement, Engaged in Action, basically saying thank you to people who saved the lives of our grandparents and during the genocide time in 1915, 1923. And it was established in New York in March 10 in 2015 on the behalf of survivors of the genocide, but it became big international humanitarian movement where we include Aurora Prize, and I'm very proud to say it became one of the most respected humanitarian activities in the world. And 2 days ago, it was announcement about our 50th laureate, mother and daughter, and from Somali. And I will say, it's honestly, it's amazing people who just all of them bringing example of something which we need to learn and to realize how people keep the Fartunadan in Wald Elman. It's example of the people who have a courage and unbelievable desire to save the lives of others, despite the father and husband was killed and one of the sisters was killed during the last couple of years. They continue doing very humanitarian activity in Somali. And all our laureates and our finalists, it's amazing stories, which I'm very happy with. Many of them came to United World College, and when we've been in Armenia in previous years, and they told about what they been doing and why they're doing. And I think it's a great example of people who dedicate their life to save lives of others. And I think it's a very important initiative, which I'm very proud to doing with our partner Nubara Feyan and Anna Feyan family, with Vartan Grigoryan, the president of Carnegie Corporation. And I think all we've been doing, it was good example of saying you can continue the cycle of gratitude in action and giving back. And I think it was very important to Armenians to learn about how we can, despite all the tragedy we are carrying in our nation, to support and help other nations to get back to the normal life. And I think it is a very good example of the engagement of the global international community to do something which is very critical for the world about human values. It's one of the examples of our initiatives which we believe it's very critical for the world and very critical for the humans, just stay humans.
Thank you so much. And now I have a question for Ms. Zonabend. We know that you are interested in art. Please let us know why you are interested in creativity in general, and how did your education in engineering influenced your projects?
Yeah, art is, I believe that creativity is one of the most important criteria and their abilities of us as human beings. Because I believe that in the future, your generation will compete not with each other, but you will compete with artificial intellect. And their priority of the human beings, of the people against artificial intellect, first of all, is creativity. Creativity is ability to find solutions that nobody can expect. Nobody knows yet what is algorithm, why it happens, how it happens, why some solutions come up without any kind of preliminary understanding. And it requires broad education. It requires knowledge in very different areas. Even I studied at in Moscow Aviation Institute. They're general constructors, aviation constructors who were from at the beginning of the industry, like Mikoyan, Tupolev, and others. They were not only pure narrow engineers, they were poets, they were like artists, they were musicians, so they were exposed to creativity, because it's very important to find new solutions in any area. And therefore, one of their distinctiveness of UWC Dilijan is art. It is very strong. We have very strong art center. And in the future, as the second phase of our Dilijan campus is performing arts center to build, with prominent music hall and there also theater that attracts creative people from the region and beyond, and also to have conduct festivals and to conduct events for the region. And this is very important. And I was always also, even in my family history, those who are in our business in New York, they all know that Zonabend family. It happened to be my relatives who had it. And it's over, the collection was sold. And it's so I believe that it's whoever you are, even to do the best and to be prominent in the area, creative art and art in any kind, in music, in visual art, or even sometimes theater, or even in conjunction of interdisciplinary, is very important for any person to be exposed also, and to enjoy life in general, and to develop intellectual also ability. And art is something that connects mind and heart, because it's about emotions.
That's beautifully said, thank you. So I have a question directed to you both. When you think about UWC Dilijan and you think about what the school has become, what three words would come to your mind to describe it and to describe the institution as a whole?
The three words: I think inspiring, fascinating, because it's a unique combination of so many people together, and inspiring, fascinating, and encouraging, I would say, because it's giving me a lot of encouragement. I would say, yeah. Also, I think it's very important to tell about importance with UWC spending time with the local community. And I would say one thing which is critical to say, it is not only a small community which living in a close circle. No, it's a very important. Of course, this year is very special because of pandemic, but overall, always been the community activity was very important, and we can see already how many kids from Dilijan been engaged, and they themselves saw the opportunity to study going abroad, and how many of them learning English, Spanish, other foreign languages, and how they are learning to communicate with the kids from other countries. As I say, it's very important also, this local concept, which I like a lot.
That's lovely. And Ms. Zonabend, would you consider sharing 3 words as well?
So yes, inspiration. So inspiration and the beauty, because it is beauty, and their meaning. Because every time I myself, despite it's like Ruben's told that it's my baby, I feel that when I come, that my life has purpose and meaning. Look at their impact, and I told the students, all of you, and that it happens at school gives a lot of inspiration, and also gives the purpose, and gives you think you that you have that it has meaning more. And also looking at the teachers who inspire and develop young people to something and are role models about what people are to be, how they have to treat each other, and what is caring, and maybe one more word, caring community, to see that it is the norm for us as people to treat each other, not what we see in many places. And yeah, unfortunately, that would be that way. In Aurora, we see that people can stand and oppose that something and stand for this humanitarian values that are very important for us.
That's incredible, and I definitely agree with a lot of the words. So I have one final question. Specifically aimed at Ms. Zonabend. When you first started this project, what kind of impact did you hope to make on both students and on the local Dilijan community? And how do you see that being reflected today? And what evidence do you see for that being achieved?
Yes, thank you. So that first of all, if we talk about community, that we can see. So that I am very glad that now most of the young people, most of kids and teenagers in Dilijan believe that they can become architects of their future, that they can achieve what they dream about, they want, if they put enough efforts and are consistent. So, and that is, they see examples of that already. That is the impact. Another impact on the students, on you, see that you all come from various circumstances and also parts of the world, and how we have already first generation of our graduates graduated from the universities, and what they achieved and what they chose, what paths they chose, what decided to do, also shows that the impact and how they solve their problems, how they think about the world, how they treat other people, also shows the impact. And also that Armenia is, we can see about and read about Armenia in many magazines about education, that it became map of the became on the educational map of the world. And there also, Ruben and I were very glad and grateful that we now have such a caring and community, thanks to Gabriel and Natalie, who treat this community as their extended family. And that is very, very important. And unfortunately, we see it not very often in the world right now, but this is already that we show that this is their norm, because that is for us, and the future depends on us, depends on how we treat each other, what we do, and also maybe also important to show example that you can live what you preach. Whereas very often what we see, it became also unfortunately a norm that people say one thing and do another. So we in Dilijan do what we say.
Thank you so much. Now I have a question to ask both of you to get to know you more on a personal level. So the first question would be, what are your mottos?
Veronica, what is your motto?
Say first. Let me think.
I will say love. The main point of the which makes me driving me is the love. Because I believe without love, you cannot do anything. That's why when you love somebody, you're ready to give your life to save the person or whatever, your motherland or your family. That's why the love is the main driver of many things I'm doing.
Yeah, similar. It's the main maybe add something that, again, do what you preach for, and there also that love will save the world, and it's important to be resilient and patient and passionate about what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to ask you if there is any quote that you think defines you the best.
Any
quote?
Yeah.
Any quote.
Slogan or.
You know, I like the quote from many famous people who've been saying a lot of, I think one of the is Peter Drucker. It's to best way predict your future, make your future. And but the other one, which I really inspire me a lot, it's the co-chair, the first co-chair of Aurora Selection Committee, Elie Wiesel. He said, the opposite side of beautiful is not ugly, it's indifference. The opposite side of the love is not hate, is indifference. And opposite side of life is not death, is indifference. That's why I believe one of the most dangerous element is being indifferent. That's why I always believe it's very critical to have a patient care about others. That's why I am a strong believer this is one of the key driver of love and curiosity to make the world better, to make life better for others. I think is very critical.
That's amazing. And Ms. Zonabend, do you have any quote you would like to share that you think defines you and what you do?
We live too long together, so we have very similar. Yeah, probably what I was thinking about, the very similar. That no, maybe nothing to add.
Okay, thank you so much. Those were all the questions we had prepared for you today. And so Gabriel will do some closing remarks and some further questions from the audience, but we want to thank you for your time, and it was very insightful. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Alva and Abdikani, for leading this very interesting conversation. So I've got one question for you, both of you. What's the best advice that has been given to you, and therefore would you pass on to young people?
Never give up. You know, it's a lot of times you're feeling exhausted, and a lot of time you're feeling what you're doing is not giving you back results immediately. And never give up. It's when you have a passion and believe what you're doing something right, I think it's give you a lot of power and making you stronger.
Thank you. Veronica?
To be patient in implementation of your plans, and to be prepared and forgiving for mistakes of the people, and also to be resilient in achieving what you plan to achieve, and not to lose focus.
I think that all of your answers apply to our students at UWC Dilijan. Maybe we'll make them part of the student handbook. So first of all, let me please thank Alba and Abdikani again. You can see them as examples of our exceptional students. Sincere thanks to Ruben and Veronica for participating in our UWC Day virtual celebration today. Ruben and Veronica, you built this wonderful school, and I think the spirit of the community which you inspire is evident from today's conversation. My personal thanks to both of you for your ongoing support to me and my family. I would like to thank everyone, all of you participating in this session, and I hope that you find it illuminating to meet the people who are behind the whole idea of UWC Dilijan. I would also like to take this opportunity to remind our community and our parents that UWC's diversity is empowered by large-scale scholarship program. As you know, we're in an ongoing fundraising campaign for more scholarships. If you have any ideas about how to help us ensure that this diversity is delivered, please let us know. Thank you very much. And happy Armenian Independence Day.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Alva. Thank you for lovely conversation, and thank you for everything you're doing, Gabriel.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.